Hi, hello guys. Welcome again to Python programming for kids and teens. Hope you guys are having fun and again you are learning. So this is the fifth video in this series. I hope you guys are following the lessons. So just a quick recap. In the last few videos, right? I taught you guys how to use variables. I explained what variables are. I use different kind of things to explain what variables are, and I showed you guys how to create variables and how to use variables to store data, right? And how to also use variable to do calculations, right? I remember using variable to calculate, the time it would take a rocket to reach Mars from Earth, right? So that is really cool stuff, right? So, but we are gonna do something a little bit more advanced, right? For variables, okay? So, let's say, for example, if you want to store your name in the computer memory, I told you that you are going to use variables, right? So you can have a variable called name, right? Then you put your name in it, whatsoever your name is. So that is very good, okay? And that is so once you do that, the computer is going to have your name. It will store it in a memory, right? Just like you store your books in shelves, right? So, and you can print your name, you can do anything with your name, you can use your name for calculations and all of that. But the question is, so let's say you want to store the name of all your friends, or you want to store the names of all the students in your class, right? So by this method, that means we have to create different variables for everyone, right? So all your friends, say like you're going to say friend one is equal to this, friend two. So if you have, like, if you're someone that is so popular, if you have 10 friends, you're going to create 10 variables, right? And that's not really good, because that's like repeating things, right? So there's a better way to do that actually, and that's what I'm going to show you. So before I explain how we use Python to do this, right? So let me use something that you're familiar with, to explain how this works. Okay. So imagine for a second that you have one pen or one pencil, right? Maybe your parents bought that pen or pencil for you and you really love it, right? So you have a storage for it that you keep that your pen or pencil are in, right? So that you can get it anytime you need it, or like you can like you don't want people to take it from you, right? That is really good, right? Because you have one pen and you have one storage for that pen. So let's say maybe like in future, maybe like you won a prize or like something happened and now you have 20 pens or 20 pencils, right? So you have the option of getting more 20 storage, right? One storage that will fit one pen each, right? Or you can get a storage that is large enough, right, that you can put all the pen, like all the pens in at once, right? So that is exactly what I'm trying to teach you, right? So you have one variable, right? But now you have lot of data that you want to store, so you don't want to create each variable for each data. For example, like a student in your class, right? So you don't want to create each variable for everyone. So now we want to create just one variable that is large enough, right, to take all the names of the people in our class, right? So you want to get a storage that is large enough to take all your pens at once, right? So that's exactly what this concept is all about. Okay, so now how do we do that in Python, right? So there is something we called like data type called list. Okay, list, so like it's self-explanatory, right? List, is just list of things, right? So now when you have like the names of students in your class, so you put all of them, like all the names, in a list, right? So that list, you can put multiple data in it, and that is how we use Python to achieve something like that, right? So and if you want to declare a list, this is how you declare it. First, you have to give the list a name, right? So let's say the list that we want to create is students, right? Or we can say student in my class, or just student, right? So student. So when you do that, then you will have a square bracket, right? Don't forget, this is going to be a square bracket. Then after that, then you now put your data within that square bracket, right? So you put the names of all your classmates, right, or your friends, or anything that you want to put, like, and it can also be numbers too. So let's say that you have 3 friends in your class, and they are A, B, and C, right? So when you do that, you have to put comma between the data that you are putting in a list, right? So you have A, then we have B, and you have C. All right. Okay, so let's have another example. So let's say you want to keep the record of all the books that you've read so far, right? So we can use a list, for that. So for example, you can create a variable and call that variable books, right? Then since this books is a list, so then you open a bracket, then you put all the title of the books that you've read so far, right? So you see that it's a good way to keep record of everything that you are doing, right? Then you can use all of this, to do some kind of programming, right? You can like tell Python to print everything for you and all of that. We're going to get to that aspect, right? So the example that we talk about is just words. So you can also use list for numbers, right? So let's say like you want to track the number of hours you spend reading your books daily, right? So we can create a variable called hours underscore books. So that is the number of hours that you read your book daily, right? So maybe like for the first week, maybe for the first day in the week, like Sunday, you read your book for 4 hours, then the next one 3, 2, and something like that, right? So you see, you can use that to also keep track of like any data, right? So that's how to use lists to keep all the data. So now that we have a way to put the data in the list, right? How do we get the data back, right? Because when you store something, you want to get it back, right? You just want it to just stay in the computer, right? So we can use the normal way that we like get data, print, right? So when you print, when you print your array, it will give you everything. Sorry, when you print your list, right? So it will print everything that you have in your list, right? So but if you want to print like the first data in a list, or the second or the third, there's also a way to do that. So you just say print, then the name of your list, let's say student, then you will say print 0. So 0 means the first element. So if the name that is in the first element is John, right? When you say print student 0, then it will print John. All right. So I will kind of explain how that works in the code for you guys. So let's go to the code view to kind of write Python code to declare list for us, to put data in the list, and to print out the list for us. Guys, so let's learn how to use list in Python, how to create list, how to store data in the list, and how to print our data from the list. Okay, so you remember I showed you guys how to create variables that you can put one data in it, right? But now we need a variable that we can put multiple data in it, because you might want to put the name of all your friends, or like you might want to create a variable to put days of the week or month in a year. So let's create a new file and let's call it list. You can call it any name, but make sure that you don't put space, and then at the end you must put .py, right? Because that's what shows that it is a Python file. Okay, so to start, it is always good to put comment in your code, right? So this code is to teach you how to use list. Okay, so let's say learn how to use list in Python, right? So just like that. Okay, so I'm going to use example of storing the names of your friends, right? So let's assume that you have 5 friends, right? So, and we want to store the name in one variable. Before, if you want to store the name of your 5 friends in variables, so you have to have 5 variables, right? You know, but now we just want to store it in one variable. So let's just call that variable names, right? So then to create a list, you should put square bracket. Okay, so then you now put the name of all your friends in this bracket, which is the list. So let's say the name of your first, like your first friend is Richard. Okay, so then when you are done with that, then you put a comma, then you can put space if you want, but if you don't want, yeah, it doesn't matter. So let's say the second the name of your second friend is Gideon, right? So let's say maybe Mark, maybe Malia. I think we have one more, so maybe yes. Okay, so these are the names of your friend. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just add one more, maybe like 6. Let's just add. Okay, so you see so now you are able to put all the names in one variable, right? So now you can print that variable and it will give you the data once, right? So again, you can store strings, or like these are words, you know, and you can also store numbers too. So let's say you want to also store the ages of your friend, right? So let's say Richard maybe 9, let's say Gideon maybe 11, let's say Mark maybe 8, let's say Malia maybe 10. Oh, I wrote Gideon twice, doesn't matter. Then let's say it's 12. Okay, I can change this one. Okay, so so now you see, so you have the data now, and you can print it, right? So let's say like I want to print all the names of my friends, right? So it's the same way that we used to do before. Again, you don't have to come all the way down here. Yeah, so print names. So then you do this, then you run the code. So you see, you print all the names of your friends, right? And let's say you want to print the age. So you see, then you can print the age. So like it puts everything together. So let me see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's make it 7. So so let's assume that age is, I don't know, 8 or something, right? Or 9. Yeah. So you see, so you are able to print everything at once. So let's assume that you just want to print the first, your first friend, or second or third or something like that. So you can actually do that too. So so let's do another one. So let's say I want to print my first friend, right? So I'll say names, then I'll do square bracket again. So here, so you assume that, oh yeah, if I want to print my first friend, then I say print 1, so that means it's the first friend. But no, in Python default list, it starts counting from 0. So when I say print name 0, I'm saying print the first element in my list, which is my first friend, right? So if I run this now, you see it will give me Richard, right, which is this, right? Again, this might look simple, but we'll use it to do some complex programming that is really fun, right? So but just make sure that you know this, all right? So can someone tell me, if I want to print Obey, what would be the number in here? Please just pause this video for a second and think about this, right? If Richard, I have to print Richard, I put 0. If I want to print Obey, what will I put in here? Okay, well, so the answer is, so this is 0, this is 1, this is 2, this is 3, this is 4, this is 5. So you just come here and you do this 5, then you run this code, then you get Obey. Okay, so what if I want to print the age of Obey? So I will say print, then age, and I will say 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, right there, 5. Also it's ages. Okay, so you see it is really simple. Okay, so yeah, so that is how to create list, and that is how to store data in the list, and how to print data from the list. Okay, so I want to give you guys a quiz, to do for this. So and what I want you to do is, so the first one, I want you to create a list of days in a week. Okay, then print all the days in a week, then another, print the 5th day in a week. This should be very easy, right? So I want you to create this. So you're going to create array, then you can call it list. Then you can call it any name, maybe like days or list days or anything. Then inside it you have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and all of that. Then you can print that day, then you can print the 5th day of that week. Okay, so that should be very simple. Again, this is really simple, right? We are going to go more into complex things to do with it, but just know that if you want to create a list, you have to put a square bracket, then you put your data in it one by one with comma separated, right? And also know that you can print everything in your list by just printing the name. Then you can print data from your list from a specific location, and if you want to do that, you have to put square bracket in here. Then you start counting from 0, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, so if you know that, this will be very easy for you, and what we're going to use lists to do in future is will be very easy for you, but you really need to understand it, not just to just write the code, because if you don't understand it and we start something complex, right, using lists, you'll be lost. So I don't want you to be lost, right? Pause the video, think about it, and try to understand it. Hey guys, so this is the end of today's video. Please don't forget to like the video, subscribe, and share with your friends, and make sure that you are practicing the code in these lessons, because that is how you get better. See you guys in the next video. Bye.